And I have nothing but respect, profound respect for the greatness of LeBron James. But I have told you before, he never was, he never has been, nor will he ever be greater than Michael Jordan. It will not happen. It's not even a debate for me.
Who's the GOAT, LeBron or MJ?
Well, you got to put Kareem in there. I'm not going to disrespect Kareem.
Right.
And I don't want to disrespect LeBron. I got drafted with Michael, played my entire career with Michael. Wow. He's the best I ever played against. I don't want to leave off Magic and Bird.
Right. Yes.
One man, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, was a basketball assassin. The other guy, LeBron James, is a really nice man. That's what he is. He's a really nice man who's really gifted. That's it. That just sums it up.
The end result is the same.
No, the end result is not the same because one guy went 6-0 in the finals with 6 MVPs because he was a basketball killer.
The GOAT debate. An argument can be made that fans across every sport have engaged in conversations about who the better of two players is. Let's all admit it, debates are a big deal in the sports world. They bring a sort of energy to them. This is why we the fans and pundits love them. Hours are spent arguing. Not just hours, years are spent arguing about who is the greatest defender, who's the greatest scorer, who's the greatest this or who's the greatest that. The chief of them all being who is the greatest of all time. The GOAT debate is usually reserved for those players who have set themselves apart from the pack. This they have done with their talent, hard work, and sheer will to dominate at all they do. These players are so good that even their peers admit that they are a different breed. You can call them the best of the best. But this video is not about who I think the GOAT is. There are too many opinions about that already. This video is about what I think is wrong with the GOAT debate. These debates can be fun, no doubt. I've participated in a lot of them myself. However, like Raymond Redditon said,
you know what my problem with religion is? Man. Like anything that has the potential to be beautiful, man will turn it into something ugly.
Just like many things, in many instances, I've seen debates quickly become sour and toxic. Comparison is a subject we all know about. We have all experienced being compared to someone else. As humans, we are obsessed with pitting two things against each other, be it mobile phones, cars, or even superstars. But a wise man once said, comparison is the thief of joy. The average sports fan, or rather say below average sports fan, lacks the ability to appreciate the greatness of both players being pitted against each other. They would rather choose to elevate one player over another to the degree of belittling the other player's achievements. In basketball, the debate about who is the greatest of all time is usually between LeBron James and Michael Jordan, and for the sake of this video, I'll be focusing on them as my case study. Michael Jordan is a player who got into the NBA at 21. He got drafted as a third pick in the 1984 draft behind Hakeem Olajuwon and Sam Bowie. His career spanned 19 years with a 5-year hiatus in between, which means he was only active for 14 years. In that time, Michael Jordan's achievements include 6 championships, 6 final MVPs, 5 regular season MVPs, 14 All-Star selections, 3 All-Star Game MVPs, 11 All-NBA teams, Defensive Player of the Year award, 9 All-Defensive teams, 10 scoring titles, 3 times steals leader, and NBA record career points per game average for both the regular season and the playoffs. The list goes on and on. The man's accomplishment is legit longer than the rap sheet of some deadly criminals. Wikipedia even says of him. His biography on the official National Basketball Association website states, by acclamation, Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time. Jordan was and still is an asset to the NBA and Nike. Nike wouldn't be Nike without Jordan. As a global brand, his image has been leveraged on to make tremendous profits by different organizations. This isn't because of luck though, it is because he talked the talk and walked the walk.
MJ, oh, he did it! And Michael shakes the finger! Jordan, oh, a spectacular move by Michael Jordan!
They'll calm you down, they'll work their plays, steal, he kept it in bounds, here it is again. Oh, yes! Whose game is it? It's Michael Jordan's game!
It is no news that he took the NBA to heights they had never seen up until his time. Everyone loved Jordan, from Paris to China. Every kid looked up to him. Some of the games he played still hold the record for most televised games in history. His excellence on the court, coupled with his tenacity and stubbornness, made Jordan a teammate you would love and an opponent you would want to avoid. In his first playoff series versus Bird Celtics, he put up a record 63 points a game, a record that still stands till this day. After the game, Bird said, That was God disguised as Jordan. He had a drive to be the best, a drive that players emulated, most notably Kobe Bryant. The man was a menace on both ends of the floor and was never afraid of anyone. Even to this day, you can still see the confidence he has in his abilities. Although the media would have you believe Jordan won every game, did everything perfectly, or even put up record numbers across every game, that is not the case. Jordan loyalists would always say he was 6-0 in the finals as though he only played 6 seasons. They almost never mentioned that he got swept twice in the first round. They also never really mentioned that he had a high usage rate until Phil Jackson came in. The very thing Kobe, James Harden and Luka have been criticized for. And this is not to take anything away from his greatness, because the teams that beat him mostly went on to win the championship or at the very least make the finals. LeBron James, on the other hand, came into the NBA at age 18 in the 03 draft class, the season after Michael Jordan's last game. A coincidence, or was it fate? LeBron James came into the NBA with the weight of the NBA on his not so tiny shoulders. Coming into the NBA directly from high school with such high expectations to be the next Jordan wouldn't have been easy, but everyone can agree that he has lived up to the hype. LeBron James has 4 championships, 4 final MVPs, 4 regular season MVPs, 19 All-Star selections, 3 All-Star game MVPs, 18 All-NBA teams, 6 All-Defensive teams, 1 scoring title, 1 assist leader. Right now, in his 20th year of sustained excellence, he has climbed every leaderboard because for some reason, LeBron James is doing a good job fighting for the time.
2-on-1. Schroeder. LeBron do it again. With it. LeBron James attacking the basket. He goes all the way. Score! And one.
Look themselves in the mirror. They didn't put the Lakers away when they had the opportunity. Look at
rejected by James. Screen by Cornette. Stolen by James. Here's a breakaway again.
I forgot to say it.
To the end of the third quarter. LeBron James, a shot in history.
LeBron is now the all-time scoring leader, breaking a record that stood almost 40 years. In his 20 years as a star, LeBron too has become an asset for the NBA and Nike. He has become a brand of his own, with an on-court vision like Magic, an ability to drive to the basket like Mike, and a body build like none other. LeBron at 38 and in his 20th year is doing way more than anyone at this point in their career did. To put things in perspective, of the players who have played 20 seasons or those who played at 38, the only player who has come close to LeBron's production is this guy. I'd leave you to guess who he is. 3 more seconds. Yeah, it's Michael Jordan. Jordan averaged 21 points, about 4 assists and 6 rebounds in his 2 seasons with the Wizards, which are great numbers for a 30-year-old, but LeBron averaged 29 points, 7 assists and 8 rebounds in his 20th season. In his 19th season, he averaged 30 points, which was his second highest points per game average. LeBron in his career have been to a record 8 straight final series, and 10 in total. He is mostly criticized for being 4-6, but this is far from the whole story. In 2 of his 6 losses, he played against what some would call the greatest assembled team in NBA history, while also losing to Team Duncan's Spurs. All of this he did while dragging some unexpected teams to the finals. When LeBron left Cleveland after the 2018 sweep, the Cleveland team could only win an abysmal 19 games in 2019. When Jordan retired in '94, his team went to the second round. LeBron is not as loved as Jordan, but he most certainly receives more criticism. A lot of this is unfair and comes from Jordan fanboys disguised as analysts who do not want to see anyone compared to their beloved, and they know Bron is a real threat, so he spooks them in an unusual way. But a little bit of this criticism is fair. Some people have said LeBron has never really had help throughout his career. While there's some truth to this, I can make the case it isn't all true. LeBron has played with D Wade, Chris Bosh, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, AD, Ray Allen, and Russell Westbrook at different points in his career. Every one of them an all-star caliber player. In the 2011 finals, he averaged 18, 7 and 7, shooting 32% from 3 and 60% from the free throw line. In the 2014 finals, his team could only win 1 game against the Spurs, although he played well. But the argument that he can't win because he only had bad players is nothing but a half-truth. LeBron and MJ are very accomplished players, and an argument can be made for any one of them. Although MJ has been the overwhelming favorite amongst fans, pundits, and even the players, including LeBron James' former teammates. MJ being the overwhelming favorite doesn't stop the argument for who the greatest player is from happening. And when this argument takes place, there's always that fan who does this.
Dismissing his 59 points in the first. You always focus on the ugly pixel in the beautiful picture. And
there's always that fan who has eyes only for the flaws of the player they don't think is the GOAT. You get to hear comments like he's not clutch, he has no killer mentality, he's a ball hog, he's not good at shooting free throws, he got swept in the finals, he didn't face a healthy team. But these arguments are poor at best. Such a mindset keeps a fan from enjoying greatness. It keeps you from being entertained, which is what sports is about, entertaining you. And when you can't celebrate your favorite player while appreciating the greatness of another outstanding player, well, let's just say that's the wrong attitude to have towards the game. Like this fan said, I was a LeBron hater when I was younger. I almost hated him as much as I hated Kobe, which says a lot, especially as a sports fan. However, I realized how wrong I was after Kobe declined and eventually retired. I never enjoyed his run and was genuinely sad to see Kobe leave the game. And that caused me to pivot and learn to appreciate all the things LeBron does. He's the most complete player I think I will ever see. I hope he can win 2 or more rings before we transition into the next era of basketball. By all means, critiquing is a part of the game. When done right, it has the ability to immensely improve a player's game. What I consider a cancer is pulling down a player. The sporting world as a whole has been quite different in the last 30 years. There has been an increase in what I would call an obsession with individuals in a team sport. In the past 30 years, sports as a whole has been widely marketed by leveraging on the popularity of star players. The marketing of great players as opposed to great teams has led to a revolution of fans who just love players rather than teams in a team sport. They are popularly called fanboys. This loyalty to star players can sometimes be very toxic. This happens when some fans will choose the success of their favorite player first over the success of the team. For example, a fan would rather LeBron get his 30 points even if the team loses, than he would see LeBron get 23 points and the team wins. This can sometimes happen because this fan wants to argue later that LeBron performed well, no matter the state of the team. Meanwhile, without the team, the player has no real shot at winning. As one choral user argues for football, his argument also applies to basketball, so I'll replace wherever it says football with basketball. They see basketball as an individual sport, where basketball only needs world-class players to display their skills and win games. They don't understand how team building and formation generally works. This reminds me of when Phil Jackson had to convince MJ to be a better team player in order for the team to achieve more victories. This was hard for MJ, but even he knew the sacrifice was worth it. Prior to Phil Jackson convincing Michael Jordan to do this, the Bulls had 3 first-round exits, 1 second-round exit, and 1 conference finals loss. Jordan accepting to be more of a team player is reflected in his PPG averages before and after Phil Jackson, but he also got to win 6 championships and solidified his place as an icon of excellence. On who I think the GOAT is, I think the argument is subjective, unlike the question on who the greatest shooter is. And this is why there is no consensus answer. Easier to determine who the greatest is in a one-person sport. It becomes much harder in a team sport because more factors come into play when it is a team sport. The success of the team is factored into the success of the player, even the player's style of play and flair, which is why players like Tim Duncan and Kareem are not really hyped as much as Kobe and Magic. No person won more championships than P.B. Russell, no player won more MVPs than Kareem. Outside of Shaq, almost no one was as dominant as Wilt. How about the big fundamental Tim Duncan? Or Kobe, who had an incredible drive to win? What about Magic Johnson, who had 9 final trips in 12 seasons? An argument can be made for everyone using different metrics. By all means, you can have your favorite team or favorite player, even your GOAT. As for me, my favorite player is Stephen Curry, but this shouldn't blind you to another team's greatness or another player's greatness. Until next time.